All right, so every single year, the holiday season hits like a tidal wave of expectations, right? But have you ever stopped to think about those people who just seem completely unfazed by it all? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the really fascinating psychology behind treating Christmas like it's just another day.
Oh, you know the feeling. The music starts playing in stores way too early, the decorations pop up everywhere, and boom. Suddenly, there's all this pressure to be festive, to buy the perfect gift, to go to every party. It can be a ton of fun, for sure, but let's be real. It can also be totally overwhelming.
But here's an interesting thought. What if you could just opt out of all that? Not in a grumpy, bah humbug kind of way, but with this incredible sense of calm and focus. What does that mindset actually look like?
Okay, so let's start by taking apart a big assumption we all make. We'll call it the holiday myth. It's this idea that everyone is supposed to experience this time of year in the exact same super celebratory way.
Look, for the vast majority of us, the holidays bring up some pretty powerful emotions. It could be that pure childlike joy and excitement, or maybe a wave of nostalgia for how things used to be. And for a lot of people, it's a huge amount of stress. These are the reactions we see all around us, and they're totally normal. But then there are those other folks, the ones you barely seem to notice it's happening. For them, December 25th is just, a Tuesday. And what's so interesting is that psychology tells us this isn't about being a Scrooge. It's not about being cold or uncaring. It's actually a sign of a really rare and powerful mindset.
So what's this mindset built on? Well, it all starts with a super solid foundation of inner strength. It's all about building happiness and contentment from the inside out.
So the first key trait, and this one's a biggie, is that these people don't rely on external things, like a holiday or a bunch of gifts, to feel happy. Their well-being just isn't tied to one specific day on the calendar. Psychologists have a name for this: emotional self-sufficiency. It's kind of a fancy way of saying that you are the creator of your own joy. You don't need an invitation or a present to feel fulfilled, because you can find that same feeling just by getting lost in a good book or working on a hobby you love. Your happiness isn't outsourced to the holiday season. It's made right at home. And that leads us straight into the second trait. Being alone, it just doesn't bother them. While the holidays can really crank up the FOMO, the fear of missing out, for most of us, these folks just don't feel that pressure.
This points to something called high self-contentment. And this really gets to a crucial difference between being alone and being lonely. For people with this trait, solitude isn't some kind of punishment. It's a choice. They don't need a room full of people to feel complete because they're already perfectly at ease in their own company.
Okay, so we've got the internal foundation down, right? Now let's move on and see how this actually translates into their actions, their very practical way of navigating all that holiday chaos. The third trait is seriously powerful. They do not let the holiday madness mess with their day-to-day life. While everyone else's schedule is just completely thrown out the window, they stick to their normal routines.
Just think about that for a second. To keep your routine going in the middle of this massive societal whirlwind, that takes incredible focus. It's a strategy, really, that helps them stay calm, grounded, and productive while the rest of the world is spinning in holiday stress.
And that brings us right to trait number 4. Instead of getting swept up in the emotional current of the season, they approach it all with a really clear, practical mindset. They just focus on what actually matters to them. This comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the holiday hype. That's where the emotional overspending happens. The stressful decorating, basically just chasing a feeling. And on the other side, the pragmatic mindset. Logical planning, sticking to your calm routine, and focusing only on what truly matters. It's the difference between just reacting to the chaos and intentionally living on your own terms. Now, this whole pragmatic approach is only possible because of one last, absolutely crucial piece of their mindset: a powerful resistance to social pressure.
So here it is, the final crucial point. They simply don't do things just because everyone else is doing it. The perfect family photos people are posting online, the trendy events they're going to, none of that stuff dictates their choices.
Psychologists call this low external validation dependence. It's a mouthful, I know, but it basically just means your decisions are guided by your own internal compass, not by applause from the outside world. You aren't looking for likes or approval from other people to feel good about what you're doing. It's almost like having a natural immunity to peer pressure and that endless glittering scroll of social media hype.
So, what can we all take away from this? Well, if the holiday chaos is starting to feel like a bit too much, there are definitely ways to nurture this more independent, calm, and focused mindset for yourself.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? This whole thing isn't about rejecting celebration. It's about embracing something else entirely. It's a sign of real confidence in your own choices, focus on your own life, and a super high degree of emotional independence.
So, how can you get some of that calm back for yourself? Well, it all starts with self-awareness, just getting really clear on what you actually want out of this time of year. Next, protect your routine like it's your most valuable possession. It's your anchor in the holiday storm. Try intentionally scheduling some quality time with yourself, just to practice enjoying your own company. And finally, make a conscious choice to just step away from social pressure and do what feels right for you.
When you get right down to it, it's about this: learning to appreciate moments for what they are, for how they make you feel, not for how they're going to look to everybody else. It's about finding the value inside the experience itself, not in the approval you might get for it later.
And that leaves us with one last question for you to chew on. When the holidays roll around, where do you usually land? Are you all in on the excitement and the hype? Or do you find a quiet strength in treating it just like any other day?